What happens when a congressman demands answers about the Epstein files and the FBI director dodges? This fiery clash between Jamie Raskin and Kash Patel exposes the tug-of-war between secrecy and accountability. Let's break it down.
Yields back. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale? Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
black book?
Black book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the black book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls?
The Rolodex, which is what everybody colloquially refers to as the Black Book, has been released.
Oh, no, you're talking about what the journalist got 5 years ago? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you were talking about there, the black book under the direct control of the FBI director.
We have released more material than anyone else before. The Biden administration, Obama administration had the exact opportunities to release this material, and they never did. And if you are telling the men and women of the FBI, we're not going after child predators. Hang on, you said we're not going after child predators. 1,500 child predators arrested this year, 35% increase.
I'll reclaim my time.
4,700 child victims.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to reclaim my time if you could instruct the witness. Why have you changed your position? There you were saying it's under the direct control of the FBI director and all of it should be released. Why have you changed your position?
Everything that has been lawfully permitted to be released has been released. And as I told you, the investigation was limited. And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Well, wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents? What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to release.
Which court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said...
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works? Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the black book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control over.
Complete your sentence. You said everything.
Release. We're releasing.
He'd like to complete his answer.
You began the sentence, everything you have direct control over, and then you stopped that sentence. You've released everything that you have direct control over?
And I have direct control over and can lawfully release. If you're not familiar with the court orders, that's not my fault.
Oh, I'm
perfectly, look at them.
I'm perfectly familiar with them, but how did we prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell?
She was prosecuted with the investigatory material that was collected from 2001 and 2005 because of the non-prosecution agreements and the court orders on the investigations and search warrants. We were not able to develop new information. And oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years, and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine. But now you're blaming the men and women who conducted this great search.
I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials under your direct control.
Has anyone released more information on Epstein than I have? Has anyone?
Much
did
more.
Comey? Did Wray?
Much more.
Did
Excuse me. Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you, there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're talking
That is
about.
not.
It is a tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen everything?
It's all misdirection.
How do you know
The time
that?
of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from California.
What we just watched wasn't just a heated exchange. It was a window into one of the most uncomfortable tensions in American democracy, the conflict between public trust and institutional secrecy. Jamie Raskin is not simply pressing Patel for a yes or no answer. He's channeling a frustration that millions of Americans feel when they see promises of transparency give way to guarded, legalistic explanations. And Patel, for his part, is embodying the other side of that tension, the state's instinct to protect investigations, follow judicial orders, and limit disclosures, even when that secrecy feeds suspicion. To understand the weight of this moment, we have to step back. The Epstein scandal is not just about one man's crimes. It has become a symbol of how power, wealth, and influence can corrupt justice. It's about the belief, deeply felt by the public, that the powerful are shielded while ordinary people are exposed. When Epstein died in federal custody under suspicious circumstances, and when years of files and evidence seemed to trickle out instead of being laid bare, it fed a perception that the truth is being managed, not revealed. That's why Raskin's line of questioning hits so hard. He's putting Patel on the spot, asking not just for documents, but for integrity. Now, let's break down Patel's defense. He leans on the language of legal duty, court orders, statutes, procedures. That is not insignificant. Federal judges really do bind agencies with sealing orders, and there are legitimate concerns about releasing names of victims, witnesses, or even individuals accused but never charged. Disclosing raw investigatory material can expose private lives, complicate prosecutions, and even violate constitutional rights. So in one sense, Patel is right. There are rules that prevent a data dump. But here's the problem. Those legal realities don't dissolve the ethical responsibility that comes with an investigation of this magnitude. When an official once said the FBI director has the authority to release the black book, people remember. When later that same official says the courts won't let me, it feels like a retreat, whether or not it's legally sound. And that's the heart of Raskin's challenge, the gap between what was promised and what has been delivered. Trust in institutions depends not just on following rules, but on appearing to serve the people openly. Secrecy may protect a case, but it corrodes confidence. Transparency may embarrass the powerful, but it restores a sense that no one is above accountability. That's why these hearings matter, because they are one of the only places where officials are forced to answer publicly why secrecy persists. For viewers, there's a bigger lesson here. Democracy is not simply about voting every 4 years. It's about insisting that the institutions we empower, law enforcement, the courts, Congress, remain accountable to us. If courts are sealing too much, then Congress has the power to challenge those seals or change the law. If agencies are hiding behind procedure, then elected representatives can press, subpoena, and legislate. And if officials overpromise and underdeliver, then the public has every right to hold them to their word. What makes this clash between Raskin and Patel so striking is that it forces us to ask ourselves, how much transparency do we actually demand, and how much secrecy are we willing to accept in the name of law? Do we want everything dumped, even if it means some innocent names are dragged through the mud? Or do we want a careful, court-managed release, even if it feels too slow, too cautious, too protective of elites? This isn't just about Epstein. It's about the precedent we set for future scandals, future cover-ups, and future cries for justice. If we let this moment pass with nothing but finger-pointing, we normalize secrecy. But if Congress pushes harder, if the public keeps asking uncomfortable questions, we signal that no matter how embarrassing or powerful the names might be, the truth deserves daylight. So the question is, where do you stand? Should court orders be the final word, or should public interest in the Epstein files outweigh the traditional limits of secrecy? And if the institutions won't give us answers willingly, what role should citizens play in demanding them? Let's talk about it in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into hearings like this, don't forget to subscribe. These aren't just arguments in a chamber, they're battles over the kind of justice system we want in America.